I've got a brand new faith journal setup and mini flip through to show you, plus a very sad journal disaster and how I recovered from it, and a new product discovery I made that has me squealing. I am so happy to be back. Here we go, y'all. Well, hello and welcome to Pink Paper Peppermints. My name is Melissa and I'm so glad you're here today. I am working in my 2020 Goal and Vision Journal for this year, and I'm using this vintage devotional book called Master Thy Soul, and I am going to be gutting the insides of the book. As you can see here, I'm just using an X-Acto blade and I'm cutting those pages out, and I've got some other videos on how to do this. If you want to check out my channel, you can see some of those videos that go a little bit more in detail, but I just take these pages out and I actually save these because I use them to do faith collages. They have great phrases and verbiage for those, and what I want to do now is reinforce this spine. I'm going to use fabric to cover the inside of my journal, and so I've got this vintage upholstery fabric that is super thick and lush, and it's just the perfect thing to reinforce the spine. So I'm just trying to decide which one of these I like. I love them all, but I think I decide that I'm gonna go with this hot pink and red because I mean hot pink and red is just the best color combination ever. And so I decided that I'm going to use that for the spine, and then I just go through some of the pinks that I've chosen to possibly be the inside and see which one of those goes the best with that hot pink and red. And I try a couple of different combinations here, but I settle on this one, and it's hard to see in the video, I think, but there are little tiny pink flowers in that, and I just love that red and pink combination. So here I've got that everything all cut out, and I've sewn some pom-pom trim on the bottom there, and I had a little bit of a disaster with that, which I'm going to tell you about later and tell you how I fixed it. But then I've got this velvet ribbon that I want to use as my tie, so I want to attach that on the inside of that, and I'm using Fabrifix to do that with. Here I've used a little vintage ring. I think it was a ring that I picked up at an estate sale. It looks kind of like it was a ring, but it's got kind of a weird stretchy ring thing on it. I don't know for sure, but I thought it was really pretty. I'm going to use that for a closure. And I've got it all, everything all glued in now, and so now I want to work on my pages, and I really like how that came out. Those colors just make my eyes tingle. I don't know about you, but I love red and pink together. So now what I want to do is work on my inside pages, and I've already kind of got my Traveler's Notebook insert, junk journal insert put together. I'm using this collection. It's the Shine collection, and it is a vintage dream and vision and goal themed set of ephemera and tags and papers and cards and labels. I'm going to show you that as I go through the book, but I just wanted to show you what I have done so far. I've got the cover here that I still need to decorate, and I'm going to do that a little bit later. And this kit comes with these labels that have 2020 on them, but they also have 5 other years. You can see here that you can cut out and use if you want to use this again in the future. And it's designed, it's got blank labels as well in case you want to use it for something besides Word of the Year, but it's also got these Word of the Year labels that say 2020 is my year of or my year to. So depending on what your word is, my year of peace or my year to succeed, whatever your word is, it's got the right prepositions for you there. So it also comes with a lot of encouraging quotes and phrases and sentiments and tags and things. These are actually newsletter subscriber gifts. So these are not in the kit, but they were gifts that I sent out to my subscribers. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter, I recommend that you do because I send out goodies to my sweet people all the time. This is the first page that I did here, and what I did was just sewed some sequins and stars onto some vintage typing paper, and I really loved how that looked. I love how you can see through it a little bit to the next page, and that is a piece of the ephemera from the kit. The kit comes with these blank pages with kind of a star border in different colors so that you have room to journal, but of course you could also use any kind of vintage papers that you want for the pages of your Traveler's Notebook insert. It also comes with these page wraps. These page wraps are designed to slip in between the pages of your Traveler's Notebook insert, but you could also use them to make mini books with. Here I've taken some typing paper and just folded it up to create a little pocket and sewed some mini pom-pom trim. That's some painted paper that I made that I've slipped in. I created a glassine envelope here, just sewing it on my sewing machine. That is a piece of the ephemera from the kit. I loved this lady. She's got a star dress on and she's dancing, and I gave her some little glittery tulle wings there on that page. And then I've got some map paper and some atlas paper, some more painted paper in my junk journal, and ledger paper. I love ledger paper. There I flipped it up to create a pocket, and I've got a whole nother video on that as well, on making pockets, and I will link that below if you'd like to see that video. This is the little ephemera pocket. You know, I talk about these pockets all the time, and I will link my friend's Etsy shop below that sells these pockets. I love these because I can put lots of tiny ephemera in them and then tuck this whole thing into the pocket, and then my little pieces don't get lost. And I've got that with me whenever I want to work on the pages. And so let's see, I don't think I have anything else. Everything now on the second half is going to be the same as the first half. Some more painted paper and some more ledger paper. And this one, I think I tucked it into this pocket because I'm going to make a little mini book from it. I have some ideas of what I want to put in that, and hopefully I will show that to you later. And then I've just got a little piece of vintage handkerchief on the back. So now what I want to do is show you how I'm going to put this in, and I've showed you this in another video as well, but in case you missed that one, these are stretchy headbands from, I think, the dollar store or the drugstore. You can get them in the hair section of most stores, and I'm using this to hold my book in. You can see I tied it there a little bit. I'm sorry, not tied it. I sewed it at the bottom to make it short for this book, and I like this because I can hold my pages in without binding them permanently in, so that I can remove pages, I can change the order, I can sew on them or paint them and then put them back in the book. And so that's what I've done here with that, and I'll have that in there until I'm finished with this book. So the first thing I want to show you is I'm making kind of a little mini vision board, and I'm using this ledger paper with this vintage felt. I'm cutting it into 2 panels that I'm going to sew to my ledger paper, and this is some vintage curtain material that I picked up at an estate sale, and I'm using that just kind of as a border along the top, and you can see I've sewn that all to the page here. I've got these pretty quilt heart pins that I got at the Missouri Quilt Company, and I'm using them, and I'm pinning these little photos to my vision board, and these are just photos that represent things that I'm working towards. We're hoping to go on a Disney trip again in a couple of years, and my prayer time and quiet time that I want to get more consistent with, and just things like that, fitness goals. And I just put these pictures in just as I'm flipping through my book to remind me of what I'm working towards. Then on the bottom, the reason I use the ledger paper is it's got numbers and places for me to write, so I can number these pictures and then write in there on the bottom what I am working towards. So I wanted to share with you my planner, my goal planner that I'm using. It's the Cultivate What Matters planner, also known as Power Sheets. And I've got some accessories with it that I'm using as well. And I plan to do some more videos with this because it's such an amazing planner. The thing that I love about it the most is not just all the fun accessories and the colors, and it's beautiful, but it's like a coaching session. You can see here Laura Casey, who is the author of this planner, she coaches you through planning out your goals and deciding what they are and why you have them to begin with. And I think I've been using it for 3 years, and I really feel like it's impacted my life in a really positive way. So if you're looking for a goal planner, I highly recommend that. I will link you down below if you'd like to take a look at that. So, okay, let's work on my title page for my goal journal, and I'm using one of the blank labels that comes with the kit, and I'm just kind of playing with it to decide how I want to put it on the front. And I decide I want to use a scrap of that fabric that I used for the binding and write my word, which is wonders, is the word that the Lord really put on my heart for this year. And I'm putting on some little sequin stars, and they're teeny tiny, so I wanted to show you how I was doing that. I'm using Fix, and I'm using an X-Acto blade and the tip of my scissors because these are so tiny that it's really hard to get them on, but I feel like they just were the perfect touch for this, and I really wanted to use them. And so that's how I placed those on, and I layered that that's a little key tag that I'm going to show you how to make here in just a minute. I layered that with a gold star and some ribbon and a quote that I typed on a piece of handmade paper, and I layered that all together for my title page. Also a little piece of crochet. I love using little pieces of crochet like that. This is a little charm that I created just using a key tag and some glitter. And so I was going to show you that as well. This is my Fabrifix. The twine that you see there is, I've tied the cap on it so I don't lose it, because I lose the cap a lot. So this is some glitter from Target, and I'm just going to shake that glitter onto that layer of Fabrifix. And the key that I found with doing this is to let that dry. So I shake it on, I tap it in a little bit to make sure that it's kind of soaked into the adhesive and shake off the excess, and then I let that dry for a while before I do the next layer, and I build the layers up that way. You can see there, if you don't let it dry all the way, the glitter will just stick to the tip of the bottle, and it's very frustrating. So let it dry between layers and build those layers up as much as you want to have a thick layer of glitter. And I did that on both sides of my charm, and then you could add something on top of that as well. You could do some word art, or you could do a button or something on top. I just left mine plain because I thought it was so sparkly and pretty. You can see it in the light there, and I really liked how that turned out. So now I want to show you some of the pieces from the add-on kit for the Shine collection, and I'm going to be using these in my journal this year, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. There are labels and tags, and these are mini flashcards, and they all have words associated with dreaming and vision and planning and scriptures in the top right-hand corner. And I have kind of a method that I'm going to be using with these this year, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. These are giant junk journaling tags that coordinate with the kit, and I'm going to show you how I'm using these as well. Lots of fun bright colors and stars and maps and things about planning. And then this is some printable washi tape, and you can print this on regular paper or you can print it on sticker paper. Here I've printed it on transparent sticker paper, and you can see the difference here when you hold, this is regular paper, when you hold them together. So it just depends on if you want it to have that washi transparent look, you can print it on that, and if you want more of a solid look, you can use that. And so let's make some of the tags. I'm going to show you kind of what my plan is for this year of how to use these. What I'm going to do is I am going to use one of these giant journaling tags each month, and I'm going to pick out 2 of the cards. This month I decided to choose Big Plans for January. It's actually not January as I'm recording this, but when I did this, it was January, and I thought Big Plans is a great sentiment for the month of January for the big plans that I have for this year. And I'm using this map tag, and I'm just going to use some gold thicker letters to put January on the front of it there, and I'm going to attach the mini journal cards for big plans on the back. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to just choose 2 words each month, and I'm going to do a Bible study using the scriptures that are on these mini cards. Now, when I created these cards, it was a couple of months ago, so I don't actually even remember most times what the scriptures are. And it has been so fun as I choose these cards, how the Lord has used the scriptures on them to speak to me for that month without me having known what it was going to be. So on the back here, you can see I've added some ribbon to these mini flashcards, and I am pretty much finished with that tag for now. And on the side here is where I'm going to do my study. And you can see this is the completed tag, and you can see my study there in the background. I've studied those 2 verses, and I'm going to do that each month. I'm going to pick 2 cards and do the studies from the verses for those cards. And I've done February and March, and it has been really, really fun so far. I've really enjoyed this kind of way of studying without planning out the study, but just letting the Lord speak to me. So these are the February and March tags. They have some gorgeous Sari silk ribbon on them, and I will link where I got that below. It is really pretty. So let's talk about my disaster that happened to this journal. You can see all the pom-poms ripped off and the fabric ripped off. That was our sweet little puppy. She decided she really likes pom-poms, but not on my journal. And so she grabbed my journal. Fortunately, I had removed the pages and they were on my desk, but she got the cover and chewed all the pom-poms right off, the little darling. So, and she got one side of the fabric off before we caught her. The other side is still attached. So I did get a little upset when I first saw it, but I recovered. Hopefully quickly and realized that I could probably repair it. So I just wanted to show you, if you have a disaster like this happen, it's super easy to repair. Really, I'm just going to snip off the excess pom-pom trim, and I'm using Fabrifix to attach the pom-poms back onto the spine of the book, or the board of the book. I had actually sewn them originally to the fabric, so I'm kind of bummed that I couldn't do that again, but I didn't want to take everything off and try to sew them on, so I decided to just use the Fabrifix to attach them. And I put some extra where my ribbon is for my tie to kind of secure that, and it's finished, and it came out pretty good. There's a little chunk out of it on the side there. I'm just going to consider that a little memory of our puppy. Little bite mark there, but otherwise it came out fine. It still looks pretty, and I can put my journal in and it looks still good. So, and I've got my pink pom-poms back. So this will still be my year of wonders, and I'm excited to see what the Lord's going to do. Now, I wanted to show you this new product that I found. This is that super cool sequin. You know how you can rub it and it turns a different color the other way? I cannot stop playing with it. I had no idea that you could buy this on the roll. Did y'all know that you can buy it on the roll? Well, I was really excited when I found it. I bought the roll of it, and I'm using it here just as a page in my journal, but I have all these ideas of ways that I want to use it, and it's just such a fun, sparkly page in my journal. I really love it. I would love to hear if you have ideas of ways that you think would be fun to use this. I also found this, it's the same, but it's just kind of a ribbon instead of the full sheet. And this is rose gold and then gold. It goes back and forth, and I'm just so in love with it. I think it's so, so pretty. Leave me a comment below and tell me if you've got ideas of ways that we can use this in our junk journals. I can't wait to hear from you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I think that you will really like this video. It's called Journal Pocket Filler Ideas, and I've got lots of ideas for making little things to put inside your journal pockets. And I actually also have an idea for something that you can use in your Bible journaling as well. It's good for a journal pocket filler and also for your Bible journaling. So I think you'll really enjoy that. I will link it below, and I hope that you'll go over and check it out. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to thank you so much too for all of the likes and comments and shares. It means so much to me. It really helps my channel when you do that. And I get so excited when I see your comments. So thank you so much for doing that. I hope that you have a wonderful week filled with peace and grace. And I will see you next time here on Pink Paper Peppermints.